right, we're back in the messy spray booth, and I've been kind of spraying away here with some stuff. But one of the things I really love about this kit, I wanted to show you a little bit more of, is how modular it is, right? So this is our intake fitting into our intake piece there. I repainted the insignia off-white, actually. Used Mr. Color off-white. Went ahead and did those. So when you drop it in, so here we have the gray for the landing gear bays, and when you put it in, right, it just, there we go, snaps right in, and there's no having to deal with paint demarcation lines. And same thing on the inside. I mean, it's awesome how that goes. Some things here, like earlier done, our red landing gear doors. We're going to go ahead and do the outsides. And also, while we're here, just because I haven't been able to show the actual painting, but here's the new sky gray for the landing gear well, and there's the landing gear well weathered. So I'll get to do a little bit of weathering for that. Wow, I can't freaking focus for jack diddly on this, but real easy way to do this: some blue tack tape. There you go. And here is SMS Premium White. We're going to do this for our nose cone. This is how much I got here. Quarter of a cup, third of a cup. So my one take on SMS, I love the paint, but the one if I had anything to say is that it seems like it takes so much paint. The paint goes so fast to cover that, like MRP, the bottle will last forever, where SMS, yeah, model maybe 2, depending on what I'm doing. So let's go ahead. I did put about 10-15% Mr. Leveling Thinner in this one. All right, and there we go. That is done. It could actually use a little bit more, but you can see here, there goes the compressor. That used all the paint I put in there. Looks pretty good. One thing I didn't notice, I didn't do any surface prep, but I have to take a look, but you can see like this line down the top and bottom of the nose cone. So these ones over on the sides, those are all real. But the top and bottom one may just be a mold separation. It's kind of bigger than I remember before, but that's white, folks. Moving to the next color. And we are moving on with light gray. I just remasked up our intakes and the bottom of that stuff. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun. There's all kinds of, see, there's how the demarcation came out with the glow gray and the off-white. And then our landing gear bay color, sky gray, and then we're gonna have to come back up here and do some light gold gray on the top of those just to match up with, well, I don't know, the vision of the project. So let's paint some light gold gray and fingers crossed. Ah, crap. I thought I was recording my paint. All right, we're definitely going through some technical difficulties here with, first of all, I'm painting light gray, not light gold gray. Or ghost, I don't even know what I said. It's one of those days. But I'm just doing this with no primer, and yeah, having a little bit of fun. I'm going handheld, so strap in, strap on, get ready. Here we go. This is what a massive, I don't know, 5-hour paint session yielded today. So after everything else was done, I went ahead and decided I was just going to go ahead and hit the blue overall body. At first I thought I would do white surfacer, white primer, and then the colors, but I just said, you know what? Sometimes you just got to say what the F and just get the paint on. So that's what I did. We got a good look up here, our intakes and our cockpit. And of course, the intakes on the back side got the gold gray on there. And then moving all along, you can kind of see everything that got done here. There's our intakes with our fan blades inside it. Looks pretty good. Light gray always shows up really tough. It was really hard to get it to show up tough, or really tough to get it to show up well on video. But there's like 3 or 4 coats of light gray on the bottom of this thing. I kind of think it's too much like insignia white. So I'm thinking about adding like a drop of light ghost gray or something on there. And then come down here. I don't think I showed these before, but I got the green on the exhaust, on the inside of the exhaust, and then gave them a and then gave them brown wash. So, and then our doors over here, light gray, light ghost, I keep saying light ghost, light gray, light gold gray. And when we flip it over, I went with red on the inside. We'll go figure with that. Then lastly, we've got our intakes up here. These need to be masking removed. Let's see how that looks. And as you can see here, they look good. No issues. Light gray on the bottom. Light ghost, oh my God, flat gold gray on the sides. And then our gray for the landing gear base, which it's funny. It actually seems almost, it's bluer than like gold gray, but and then our other one, and then our inside, like we had to repaint the inside of these things with the white. Looks good, and throw another wash on there. But yeah, I'm digging this look now, baby. And we're back now that we have the off-white intake ramps. We're gonna do I think I'm gonna just try straight regular gray panel liner Tamiya here. I really like brown, but I think in this case, just the straight gray is probably going to be a good choice. All right, working on the exhaust here, just kind of jumping around at the moment. It's getting late, and I really should go to bed, but you know, anything I do now, it means I don't have to do it tomorrow. So we're just throwing some dark brown on our already green painted exhaust flamethrower pieces here. I don't even know if I'm going to do too much to wipe it away or not. I kind of just like it the way it is. For on this build, I haven't done any gloss coat. I've just put everything, although I've kind of had a more glossy paint job. I've just been putting everything wash-wise right on top. There we go, that's pretty cool. We're just gonna throw some brown. All these things get pretty much buried in there, but you know, if you know it's there, that's what matters. And if you can see it later, even better. So now that that was a nice big screw up, let's just wipe that off now while it's still wet. Cool, man. All right, we're just gonna throw some black all the way around. Again, this stuff probably won't even be seen. So we'll just, that might even just kind of give it some nice weathering along the way. Boom, shakalaka. Looks good, baby. All right. We'll dust off the top of these fan blades just to give a little bit of sparkle when we're done. Chopped off the cages for the 3D landing gear. I'm going to leave these on here. I think that's a much easier way to paint. Yeah, that much easier way to paint. And then there's our front gear there. So the brake line here, it was just so fragile that this brake line got chopped up, unfortunately. I don't even know if I'm going to deal with that. We'll see what it looks like once it's painted and put on. All right, well, here we go, listening to a little bit of the Maverick soundtrack. And I think tonight's movie of choice is actually going to be Maverick tonight. But in the meantime, I got to do a little more painting. And you can see here I've masked off a couple of panels. We're going to go hit these with some really dark gray. And it probably been a lot easier just to brush paint, but I don't know what it is. I just don't like brush painting, and I think airbrushing looks better. So we're going to hit those things. In the meantime, we have finished off wash and some things here for our intakes. I did a black wash in those intake grills. It looks better on the light gray, on the light flat gold gray, light ghost gray, light gold. Yeah. We'll just call it gold gray, okay? 36440. It doesn't look, it kind of feels like it got pulled out there. It doesn't look all that nice, but if you look back on the outside, man, that looks really cool. So we're gonna debate what we're gonna use for the rest of the panel line wash, probably gray. There's a look at the redone upper intake ramps, and then on the inside I washed those with gray. It wasn't visible enough, so I went back and did it with brown, and now it's very visible and very dirty, and at the moment very blurry. So there you go. The big old sucker here. I forgot to put some antennas in. I started masking back here. I was going to paint them the hot section, but I figured why mask, paint, and then I have to mask over it. So let's just do that at the end and paint it all at the end. So yeah, we need another coat of Air Superiority Blue 35 450. And we're going to get downstairs, get that done. Also in the paint session already today, you're painted in white. Why is it white? Well, you know, not that the Russians ever did that, but the U.S. Navy certainly does. And, you know, because that's what we're doing around here. We're doing whiffs. So a bunch of these things white. I was going to go to the hobby shop today and pick up some new chrome, Molotov chrome pens, but I just didn't leave the house. So that'll have to be done a little bit later. And then if we can see this well enough, I did a little bit of work on the instrument panel and painting the gray details. I went ahead and used wash, panel line wash, and it looks pretty cool. It actually, you know, it looks much better to the naked eye than it does. But we got some decals to go into our display up here, and then for these main displays, I'm debating whether or not I just throw clear green on and gloss coat, or just gloss coat, because that clear green on black will just look black. But yeah, a little bit more work done on that. Okay, I'm on to day 3 here, and we got a bunch of stuff going on right off the bat. Let's take a look. Pulled the masking off of the cockpit. You can see I just did 2 panels in a gray. I kind of want to do like a little bit more in here before I go doing the instrument buttons. This will be interesting. I haven't painted a cockpit in a long time. I just use Quinta stuff all the time. But I'm going to go ahead. I think we'll figure it out. But I'm going to do some more panel adjustments there before we paint the buttons and dials and all that. Other than that, went ahead and hit some light ghost gray for the bottom. It's just, you know, it's just there and you see it. But on the wings, let's zoom out a bit here for you. Light ghost gray. I had to do a little bit of masking here, so let's go ahead and pop off our masking tape and see how good of a job I did. I really hope I don't have to go back into the landing gear bays and fix anything, because that just would suck. All right, that's good enough. And our demarcation line, kind of hard to tell the difference between the gray of our landing gear wells, which I think I probably should have gone a little bit lighter on, and then our light ghost gray underside of the wings. You can see the difference here, but it's close. So SMS light ghost gray on that. Finding it kind of nice actually to do this stuff in sections. Let's see, where are we going to go after this? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go into our, you know, kind of taking the cue from this building in sections idea. I'm going to go ahead and get into weathering on the bottom of things like the intakes and stuff. You can, whoa! You can see I already put in the, here we put in the intake tubes and glued in the top here. So we got kind of a nice look in there. I don't know why we're having some focus issues here, but got that stuff kind of all put together. So let's do this. Let's go ahead. We're going to weather these suckers up next. First thought was just go Tamiya straight up gray. And then I also have Mr. Weathering Color multi-gray. A little bit darker than I thought. So what does that look like to Tamiya's dark gray? Those are actually really close. I think the multi-gray is going to be too dark. Gray, I think, may be our winner, but I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some other Mr. Weathering colors here. We got 3 options on Mr. Weathering Color here. This one's a little green. I'm going to skip that. I'm looking at kind of a gray-brown. Grayish-brown might actually be a good choice on this. Kind of look brown. You know what? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think we're just going to go straight up to Tamiya gray. Let's go ahead and throw on our gray and see how it looks.
It's not too bad. I'm not entirely sold that I don't want to go with one of the browns, but for now we're going to do this. Of note, I have been lazy, and I am not putting on a gloss coat. I'm simply putting this straight onto the SMS paint. What I'm noticing, or what you may notice here, is that on this airplane, these areas back here should actually be bare metal. This is an area that's bare metal on the airplane, but since this is going to be a U.S. Navy appropriated aircraft, I've taken a few liberties and decided that the Navy painted over those things. And so that is what I am doing here. There we go. All right, well, that's not a bad start. We'll let it dry and check it out. Gray's good. I kind of want a brown, though. So we'll think this one through. Check in with the time to go to bed, but I'll check in with you in a minute. All right, coming right back at you. I think I'm going to just try a little bit of Tamiya brown here. And I already put a little bit on the front end here. And I think I like it. I actually think I'm going to go with brown. I really should probably go grab some of the Mr. Weathering color kind of gray browns just to try it, because brown is a little stark on here. Yeah, I might have to do that, but in the meantime, let's just put some on, and the dry Q-tip just kind of rub off the top stuff there. So you can see gray and brown. I think I'm liking the brown better. Actually, you know what? I like the brown. We're gonna stick with the brown. Cool. Decision made. I'm just going to give something else a try here, just for fun. I grabbed the Mr. Weathering color, grayish brown. Let's see how this looks. I think I'm going to start just on the inside a little bit with some grayish brown. It's also kind of fun just to use this stuff to weather around a bit. I think it's a good color. I like it. We're going to use it. All right, try not to touch it. We got this whole thing weathered up with Mr. Weathering colors, grayish brown. I like the color. We'll see how well these spots up here, these little fastener rivets are really shallow, so I'm not sure how well they're going to hold, but we'll see what happens. Like the weathered look. So overall, I kind of think this whole thing is going to be kept fairly clean. And now that everything's coated, of course I forgot to record this, but I went ahead and grabbed some Q-tips and started going to town on the first intake. I let it dry for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and I just barely got like the tiniest amount of white spirits on the Q-tip, and then started rubbing, just kind of kept rubbing all over the whole thing. And this is what we get out of it. It kind of, yeah, it gave it just a nice weathering overall. All right, so we get the tiniest amount of white spirits on here, and we just kind of start lightly hitting this whole thing. Now let's do this one real quick. It might even be too much. Then we switch to a dry toothpick, but it picks up that moisture real quick and starts working it away. And then we just keep going to the next toothbrush. I don't know, Q-tips. These days I'm going to start sleeping with a 3-year-old. It's kind of hard. So I just kind of keep working it away. And there we go. There's the start of it. And we got tons of these dirty Q-tips. There's like just enough, it's got moisture, but just enough of the mineral spirit left on there to kind of keep, keep spreading and going. So I don't want to discolor it too much. But man, that looks pretty cool. It's just nice and light. And we're going back down here. Like I said, there was no white spirits on this Q-tip at all. It was completely dry. But just because I kind of brushed it through an area that had been done, we get just enough pigment on there, or just enough white spirit on there to keep going. I don't want to rub too hard because, like I said, there's no clear coat on this. It's just straight on painted plastic and no primer either. So it's just giving me enough of a deposit. It's cleaning off enough of it, giving me enough deposit in and around the area to make it all look weathered, just to save me from having to weather later.
Well, I've said it before and I will say it again. This is why I love Mr. Weathering Color. And I don't know, I keep reaching for Tamiya, and Tamiya is great. I mean, I love Tamiya panel liner, but Mr. Weathering Color just kind of spreads around and just gives you that cool tinted little bit of weathering stuff so much easier. So, you know, I think if it had the brush in it, I'd probably use it more, but I'm lazy and to me it gives you brush. But anyways, I am loving the way this looks, and we're gonna wrap it up, move on to some assembly tonight.